afternoon. Today is Monday, May 24th, 2021. It's 5:04 p.m. and we are here for the regular trustee meeting. We'll begin with a Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have an agenda before us. Are there any modifications or additions? None? Do we have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve the agenda for the May 24th, 2021 meeting.
Second.
Trustee Dean?
Yes.
Trustee Wallace?
Yes.
Trustee Kretz?
Yes.
I move to accept the general ledger report in the amount of $393,022.03 for the 5/19/2021 payroll.
Second.
Trustee Wallace?
Yes.
Trustee Dean?
Yes.
Trustee Kretz?
Yes.
I make a motion to accept the payments listing report in the amount of $904,892.58 for warrants through 5/24/2021.
Second.
Trustee Dean?
Yes.
Trustee Wallace?
Yes.
Trustee Kretz?
Yes.
Are there any corrections or additions to the minutes?
None.
Had none.
I move to adopt the minutes for the May 10th, 2021 regular trustee meeting as presented.
Second.
Trustee Wallace?
Yes.
Trustee Dean?
Yes.
Trustee Kretz?
Yes. And at this time, we ask any citizens desiring to speak. We have 3 minutes. And seeing none, we'll move on. We have no old business, and so new business. We'll turn over to the administrator.
Thank you, Board. Page 12 of your packet is a resolution, and I have 2 copies here, one for the township, one we'll send to the Ohio Public Works Commission. This is every township gets a rep on District 11, and at the Township Association meeting this past month, the association nominated to keep Scott Miller onto the board, representing the townships on District 11. And with that, on top of that, the county engineer announced application periods and times that we'll be doing that. So everybody has to pass a resolution to support it, and we have to send it to District 11.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to pass resolution number 202-10524./admin/E for the Ohio Public Works Commission District 11 Integrating Committee nominee, as presented.
Second.
Trustee Wallace?
Yes.
Trustee Dean?
Yes.
Trustee Kretz?
Yes.
Thank you, Board. Next item is on page 14 in your packet is the shared service agreement draft between the county engineer and Beavercreek Township. This is for essentially 3 projects. And this, go through what this doesn't include as well, but this will include 2 traffic light and any any fees or costs associated with any parts of the Valley Bell connector. For example, the piece that we'll need in front of the fire station. In February, as the board recalls, they did approve $63,145. Question came up, would that be shared with the county engineer? And I said, as soon as we get the agreement, so here we are. This agreement has been reviewed by the county engineer, as well as our legal, Ms. Frick, and the Greene County Prosecutor's Office. What is not on here is the studies that she is taking on 100% for the township, and that's the 3 safety studies. The safety study at North Alpha Bellbrook and South Alpha Bellbrook Indian Ripple intersection, which includes Greene County engineer, City of Beavercreek Township, the Dayton-Xenia Trebine intersection south of the river, north of the river, the Dayton-Xenia Trebine Hilltop intersection, and the Hilltop Fairgrounds intersection. She is, Ms. Goff has taken responsibility for those 3 projects and financially supported them at 100%. So long-term maintenance of the traffic lights, as well as electricity or any cost, will be at the county engineer's expense in this agreement. So, we do have money set aside, and as the board recalls, several meetings ago, we did move that into a capital improvement fund, which was a recommendation of the township fiscal officer.
I make a motion to approve the shared service agreement with the Greene County engineer as presented and authorize the township administrator to sign for the board.
Second.
Trustee Dean.
Yes.
Trustee Wallace.
Yes.
Trustee Kretz.
Yes.
On board with that, that brings, without knowing any of the costs associated with the Belleville connector, the costs that we know with the traffic light project, both of them, that brings us to 34 shared service agreements, and that's about $9.3 million. And I'm going to be working with the county auditor to determine, it's about 8 mills with my figures, but
That's what I was gonna ask,
yeah,
the
I'm
mills. Yeah.
Gonna confirm that with a formula from the auditor.
And I'd like to publicly thank Greene County Engineer Stephanie Goff for working with us so well on that shared service agreement. I think they're really stepping up.
Any other questions?
I had none.
I don't know.
Sheriff's Office?
Thank you, Board. On page 17 is the biweekly report, followed by the monthly report on page 44. Sergeant Morris here to answer any questions.
I had a couple. First, I want to say that it seems like you guys, this is last month, you've had last couple weeks, have a variety of incidents and things that happened. I never seen such a conglomeration of different events going on in your report as I have this last time. I'd like you to, I have 3 things that I'd like to discuss. One is, we had 3 hang-ups. Would you tell citizens what happens on a hang-up from a 911 call?
Whenever a call comes in on 911, there's a lot of things that happen at dispatch. Forgive my voice, I was coaching basketball this weekend.
Sorry. Our apologies to your team.
When a call goes into 911, there's a lot of things that kick off, and with technology, they're able to tell just by different, they call it like a phase 2. I think they're up now, I think they might call it phase 4. This technology is changing and upgrading, that they're able to tell, pinpoint if it's a hard line, landline, cell phone, and things of that nature. So because of the nature of what 911 can be, we're going to dispatch 2 deputies to every single one of those. You don't know what that call is. So whenever we get a 911 call that maybe it's an open line or it's an immediate hang up, we're going to dispatch deputies there. We're going to make contact with that person. If it's a cell phone, we're ultimately just going to continue to stop or continue till we make contact with somebody and not stop till we can make sure that the person is safe. In most cases, it is an accident. A lot of times with businesses, you have to dial 9 to get out. So sometimes they'll get an extra 9 in there to dial long distance or something like that. So they dial the 9-1, and so businesses or computers even are able to try to access and get out, and it's an accidental dial. But we're always going to respond, and we just check the welfare of that residence or the owner of that cell phone.
Thank you. Was there an arrest made at the B&E that was on the report?
I would tell you it's probably a blanket statement that it's an ongoing investigation, and that we probably wouldn't release whether there was an arrest made until it's closed out. But I'll take a look at that and have information for you for the next
And then
meeting.
there was 5 crashes. Was there in a variety of different locations, or was it a certain location in the township?
We've experienced an increase in crashes, but I think that's unfortunately commonplace as the weather starts to break. More people are out. Also, things are changing with COVID restrictions, so people are leaving the homes more. So we're seeing an uptick in crashes to begin with. We've increased our patrols and our radar, laser patrols, and just checking speed and trying to keep everybody manageable and decrease as much as we can.
But there was not at one set place, like at
Correct.
35 or anything like that?
Correct,
Okay.
correct.
That's all the questions I had. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I had one as well. It's nice to see you in person, but There's a one that says unknown problem.
Mhm.
Is that something that you would go back and update, to let the, for future reference, like what had occurred, or do you just leave it as the unknown?
So, to answer that question, yes, I believe I know the one that you're asking about. I was on that call. And it is an unknown problem, meaning that you get a phone call that comes into dispatch, and it's just a person that we're not able to understand in that case. And ultimately, that's kind of where it stayed. Just the person was having some difficulties. There was no problem.
Gotcha.
There was no issue as far as criminality or anything else, so there was nothing to update that to. But to answer your question, if something comes in, dispatch has one heck of a job trying to sort things
Right.
out. And oftentimes what we leave there with is not what we were dispatched to. And in those cases, we do update with what they are for reporting purposes.
Awesome. Thank you.
Any awareness items as far as staffing, vehicles, or equipment that we need to be aware of?
Just for awareness that the new cruiser was put into service. It was technically put in service today. We've had it, hit a little minor glitch on it last week, but was able to put it in service today. We do have it out front. If you guys want to take a look at it, we're very fortunate to have it and the equipment to help us be successful, and we're very thankful to the board and the citizens for the opportunity to use it for what it's meant to be.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Be safe. Human Resources.
And board, on page 55 of your packets, the biweekly report for HR. Tricia's on here to answer any questions.
Any questions for HR?
I had one, and again, I see all of staff seems to be, with COVID kind of winding down, reports from all of staff in the township has increased. Looks like their workload is almost expanding exponentially. I wanted to check to see if, on the fraudulent unemployment filings, were you able to rectify some of those things, Trish, or find out what was happening on that?
So far, we've been able to ensure that all of them have been taken care of. There's still two that are outstanding. One was the latest filing that we've had of a current employee, and one is a filing of a former employee. And those are the only two that are outstanding that we currently have. All the others have been taken care of,
Thank you.
thankfully.
Yes.
Any other questions?
I had nothing additional. Thank you.
Thanks for the report.
Thank you. Sure. Have a good day.
You too.
Thank you, board. Next item's on page 58 of your packet. It's the biweekly report for community development rests. Our Marshall Grojan's here. He's going to give an update on one that I do have some pictures for you.
Yeah. So I think Mr. Harry threw some pictures out of Thursday's river cleanup from the River Rangers. Have some pictures from Friday also, but they've cleared out that. A couple of those pictures are from the debris that's collected on the split where it goes from the main channel into the oxbow. So that was all cleaned out on Thursday. All of that debris is gone, and they were down at the turn, more or less, at the McGinnis's property on Friday, cleaning most of that up. We've got some video of that. They're doing a pretty amazing job and getting very, very proud of Ed. Ed Amorine has worked closely with them, really a good relationship built with them too. So if you have any questions, and again, later, maybe after the meeting, we'll bring up a couple more pictures of them working out there.
So it's mostly, it looks like mostly trees and debris, not so much trash.
Right, correct.
We are aware of some trash and metal that we're going to be working with our road department and the county engineer's office to remove from the river. Also, I received an email last night from former
Yep.
First Lady Hope Taft.
Just gonna mention.
And really applauded our efforts and what we're doing down to restore the bank using the debris in the river. So she was very impressed, and she was very happy to find out that June 12th will begin the river cleanup program that she has, where anybody can sign up for a canoe, and we'll be doing some social media as well staff will be involved, help cleaning up. Excuse me, and they plan to put in at Glen Thompson this time with just river cleaners or keepers. We'll have the oxbow open
Great.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I heard it from, heard about it at the State House level, so they were talking about it up there.
Right.
Heard from 2 different state reps about the efforts to clean up the river, so.
Great, great. I'll let Ed know, definitely. He's very proud of it, definitely. Wants to continue with the continuous maintenance of the river in that
Yeah,
aspect.
I just have to put a screen upstream to keep it from coming through again.
Absolutely. Then there was one other thing I wanted to point out, where you have a continuation of Case 821 coming up Thursday night. We're going to hold it again up in the fire station apparatus bay. We do not have a public input portion of it, but we're still expecting some public to attend, so we're just opening the
Public
venue up.
portion's closed, and you're
Yes,
just
sir.
having still discussion amongst the board members, and then they'll reach a conclusion one way or the other, and then we'll determine if it's
Yes.
coming to this board or not.
Yep,
Yeah, there
just,
They will be making a recommendation at the next meeting.
right.
I don't know what that is, but to send it to the board, so we will, at the June meeting, be discussing probably special meeting, since we've been usually doing the public hearings at the end of these meetings. Probably a special meeting, because we know there'll be a lot of attendance.
But that implies that the applicant's still engaged, obviously, as far as in the process, so.
Yes, sir.
Which is
Yeah.
positive. So-
Yeah.
Yes, that is.
Yep.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Thank you, Alex, for reminding for saying that. Okay. Anything
Any
else?
other questions with the bi-weekly?
I had none.
I had nothing additional, thank you.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you, Maura. Next item is the bi-weekly report for IT. As you know, in the report on page 68, we're about 92% done with the new server upgrade project. There's a few more migrations that need to take place, but we're almost there. Just some additional equipment costs came in this week, so it looks like they are installing that. And I think we have one more day of migration of some of the data, and then we'll be 100% on the new server, as the IT folks call it, a farm, but server system. Any questions?
When that's all done, I'd like to tour that little
Sure.
facility
Yeah, we'll go
again.
over and take a look at it.
Mhm.
Just like after the meeting, we take a look at the cruiser, so, yeah, we'll go over it.
And so, can you re-explain, or refresh us on how the billing for that contracted service works? Is that flat fee monthly? Is it flat fee plus à la carte projects? Special projects for outside of that, I understand, so just refresh us how that's moving along, and is it meeting our expectation from a financial or economic aspect, as well as, I know performance-wise, we appear to be pretty satisfied from the service level that we're getting, but from the economics of it, is it working?
So far, it's working. I mean, we could pay monthly. We chose to pay it yearly because we got the additional discount if we paid it yearly, so paid it yearly. And you're correct, Mr. Kratz, if any special projects are outside, they quote that. If it's, it's a cost that's above the $10,000, that has to be approved by the Board of Township Trustees. So, and obviously, this was outside the project, and the migration to the new environment was outside. The board approved that, moving forward not to exceed amount, so, they were able to do some, savings as a part of that, but we did find a couple additional issues, so we went ahead and said, let's replace it now, as part of that, because the cost was, and it was related to the, different switches, power issue was another one, the battery backup systems were out of date, so we were able, with the cost savings that they did in other areas, we were able to incorporate that cost by replacing the batteries as a part of the project. So, yes, both time-wise, I mean, it's hard to put a number on my time and Chief Easter's time, but I can tell you that dramatically, both of us are out of managing the day-to-day operations of IT. So we're seeing a cost savings there where I'm working on other projects and Chief Easter's working on the operations of the fire department.
It's just, specifically when you pre-fund or prepay a contract like that, you just wanna make sure you're looking at it on a quarterly basis to make sure the honeymoon hasn't ended and that everybody's still getting along and working together and delivering the same service level you were getting the first quarter and the fourth quarter.
I think, the advantage also is, as part of the contract is the board never He checks in with everybody on a day-to-day basis when he's here. I mean, he comes to me and any issues, you know, he addresses them immediately, even before I put a ticket in, if there is one. So, and he's doing it in all our facilities. He's going out, you know, so much so that, he's getting invited to lunch, at the fire stations. So,
Nice.
which is good. That's good meals. So yes, we are very pleased. We'll reevaluate, quarterly and take a look at that and then, make that recommendation next year. As you know, we have a 3-year agreement, but each year we have that ability to either monthly or pay for the year and get the discount.
And then as far as tracking, are we internally logging, or they're logging, obviously, their hours to make sure that it's within what they anticipated the relationship would involve? And are we looking at that, reviewing that on a periodic basis to?
We have not, but we can definitely look at that.
It might be
I mean,
something
I
just to
would-
be
Yeah.
worth looking at and make sure you know where you stand, kind of at least halfway through the cycle.
Once we get done with this migration, I think we'll be on a more normal track to start evaluating those type of things. I mean, it was essentially a perfect storm. We knew we had to migrate. We held off, knowing we were gonna make potentially a switch in IT providers. And then as soon as we did, we had the, failure, in the server room. So unfortunately, they've been playing a little bit of catch up, not only because we kicked the can down the road in regards to the infrastructure project, but, so I'm hoping by June, we're gonna be on a little more, IT kind of stability in
Routine.
regards to, and then evaluating those type of things.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions?
Nope.
Roads.
Thank you, board. First item is our annual resurfacing project. Their budget justification is on page 71, followed by the spreadsheet of the bids that came back, also with a motion at the bottom of page 71. Mr. Parks is here to answer any questions.
Mr. Parks, I had a question on, the recycling or resurfacing projects. Do you have a list of all the roads in order of, from worst to better, in the township that you kind of check off every year?
Yeah, we annually go out and evaluate where we need to be. That's kind of how we set up our, I think we've got them scheduled out through 26 tentatively. But it's, the yearly evaluations that we go out and do that kind of concretes what we're gonna do for the year.
Is that on our website too? Is that
We're
listed so
working on-
citizens can?
Yeah, we're gonna be working on the list of streets for that, and then putting on tentatively what we think is gonna be next year.
Okay.
But that's always subject to change.
Yeah, it is subject to
depending-
change based on
depending
emergencies and.
And of course, this also includes, our shared service agreement with, the residents of Country Club of the North. So that's, be reimbursed by CCM on that. So we'll be working with that agreement as well to see what streets, they need to put on their list.
I know the last time we talked about that, as far as putting it on the website or putting it out to the public, was to make sure that it was put out as a range of time, not a specific timeline, because priorities can shift, just based on, you get a washout on a culvert or something happens, and all of a sudden you gotta go and address that problem first, so.
I mean, Hilltop is a prime example. We had,
Right.
we had the opportunity with the water and extension line, from Greene County to the eastern part of the county. We decided to move that around to do the whole thing, so just not one
Yeah.
side of it would be
Makes-
paved, the whole road. And we worked with Xenia Township to do the entire piece, both in Beavercreek. And we were able to take Beavercreek Township and Xenia Township, and we were able to work with the county to just postpone what they were gonna spend just to do half the lane. It was actually a savings for everybody. So we are looking at, some of the other grant opportunities that are coming down related to the American Rescue Plan and some of the other, CARES money through other sources. One being brought forward by Miami Valley Regional Planning Commission. We don't have the exact rules yet, but, Mr. Parks and I have been talking about other roads that are associated with, for example, the Super Street, that, when they're out there doing the fire and labor pavement, that we pave on both sides to get it done. So those are the things we're constantly
Thank you.
With the shared service agreement with, Country Club of the North, does that limit what we can do in a season?
No, we just add it to our bid list. So,
Okay.
we, as a part of the agreement, we go out and make an assessment on their roads and tell them, you know, this is what you need to do. They don't have to follow it because they're private roads, but, you
Right.
know, as part of the shared service agreement, excuse me, the HOA then determines which roads that they're gonna put on, and then they just give it to us in a timely manner, so we can put it on our bid sheet. And then, you know, we upfront costs, we'll submit an invoice once it's done, and then, they'll reimburse the township.
It's essentially a good faith, awareness, so they can put together a deferred maintenance plan, so they can determine, they can schedule this 3 years, 5 years, or emergency, you know, this year, next year type thing.
Yeah, they did all the roads several years ago through, you know, a separate contract, and, we worked with them. You know, unfortunately, it was already done, but the shared service agreement came out. We will save the homeowners association, a major, assessment fee in regards to, the paving project. So, and when I go out to the HOA, meetings, and, the one I was supposed to have, 2 weeks ago, it's gonna be rescheduled till later this year. But it's one thing that they really appreciate, that we go ahead and do that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions on the road resurfacing?
I had nothing additional.
I'll move to approve the purchase request VIP requisition number 21 Road 0281 to John R. Jurgensen for annual roadway resurfacing for the amount of $273,000 and to authorize the township administrator to sign for the board.
Second.
Trustee Wallace,
Yes.
Trustee Dean,
Yes.
Trustee Crutz.
Yes.
Thank you, Board. Next item is the bi-weekly report on page 74. Are there any questions?
Well, I had a comment to Mr. Parks. I want to thank you. I failed to thank you last meeting, but I want to thank you and Mr. Zaharian for the drop boxes change at the library. I've received a lot of positive feedback from older members of our community, being able to drop off those library books on the left-hand side of driver's side of a vehicle. They love the painting of the parking lot. It's extremely visible, and I just heard raves about it. So thank you for you and your, please tell your crew, thank you very much. And I forgot to thank you for the poles. You put the new poles, or painted poles, or new poles in the library parking lot, the light poles. They look really nice, and I know that happened a while ago, but I failed to mention it to you. So I wanted to thank you and your staff for that also. It's really looking great there.
Well, thank you. I'll pass it along.
I had one thing. I know we talked about it the last meeting about the delivery of the items that we purchased from the engineer's office, and I do see your awareness item that we took delivery of those. Were there anything that you had to do to get those in service here, or were they ready to go for you guys?
Actually, it was ready to go. Actually, it's been on the road for about a week and a half. I believe Torrey from the community development department has actually put social media out showing the tractor, us out on the road, so.
Oh, nice.
Awesome.
Didn't see that.
Thank you.
On the topic of roads, even though it's not necessarily your pieces, parts that are there, so where does it stand as far as the 5-acre piece on Township Road that we're working on as far as removal of the poles and removal of the items from that property so we could get it closed?
Everything's been removed from the property. They had till, City of Beavercreek had till June 1st. They got it done, they did it, I believe, 2.5 weeks ago.
Okay. So we did not have to participate in that, they
No,
took
we
care of
didn't
it,
have to
okay.
participate.
Do we
The
need
other-
to, do we
the other
need to lay
question
eyes
came
on
up
it, or?
was regards to the gate, whether to keep it or not.
Right.
So the city and the property soon to be purchaser of the property worked that out. I believe the gate's staying. And today I just received a signed copy of the property owner signing the agreement, as reviewed his attorney. The only thing we have to wait on by the agreement is a survey. And right now he's having a hard time doing survey work with just everything going on community-wide.
Okay.
So he's got one scheduled, and as soon as we have that and the results back, there was a question whether or not we can proceed without the survey, so I just put that to legal, which was just today. So,
You have not received a response yet on that?
not yet.
Okay. Okay. Is it a survey or a legal description that they need?
I believe it's a survey.
Okay. And do you know what type of survey it is? Just an Alta, or, don't know, okay, whatever's in there.
Yeah.
If it's a legal description, if we're waiting on that, and sometimes you can do, deed in lieu, there's a workaround with the county, but, okay.
Yeah, that's all we're waiting on. They're ready to move, and all the stuff's been removed, and,
Okay.
yeah, so.
And as far as the agreement on the gate, whether it stays or it's removed, is that in writing? And do we have a copy of it? Because regardless of his agreement with the city, the township is the seller. And just so we have a document of that, where whatever was agreed to is signed, just, it could be informal or formal, but something just memorializing whatever they agreed to.
Yeah,
Do we own the fence then?
no, it's a city.
City? Okay.
So, but if he's leaving it, we don't wanna have to go get it later.
Right.
Any other questions for roads?
I had nothing additional, thank you.
Okay.
Oh, Mr. Parks, when is that, behind the building here, when is that, generator or whatever gonna be fenced in? Fixed?
From what I heard today, and Randy, correct me if I'm wrong, it should be towards the end of the month, but the fence is supposed to start next week.
Okay,
It'll be both around the dumpster and then around the antenna tower.
okay,
The generator has been set, so that's what we're waiting on. They didn't wanna put the
one in.
fence up before the generator was set, so
Right.
it's set. The, complete work will be, for the generator setup, will be taking place on June 12th, that's a Saturday, so they'll be in, shutting the power off to 851 Orchard, testing the system, going through all the checks, and then the fence will be installed.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, fire?
Board. First item is on page 75 of your packet, is a purchase request for Station 65 appliances. These will be all the appliances that are needed for the fire station, or at that point, we need to start buying furniture and things that need to go into the fire station, which is good news. Budget justification starts on page 75, with a motion on page 76. Chief Anabas is here to answer any questions.
Chief, I had a question on, do you know what the, manufacturer name is on those appliances?
I do not. We have a standard spec that we're using at all the stations, and it matches that spec, but I don't know which brand it is. I apologize.
Because I know that some brands, I mean, I know we look at pricing, but some brands nowadays are harder to get parts, especially if they're Korean or made or out of the country. It's more difficult to get parts than it is, and I just was wondering, having gone through that process myself, sometimes it's good to check out the brand and the parts and where they're coming from. So,
Yeah, I can get that information for you. Like I said, this is a standard that we've established so that we'd have consistency across the stations. And I believe they did look at long-term ownership, cost of ownership types of issues when they settled on that. That's not to say things haven't changed since that decision was made, but it is a high-end residential. Also, it's not commercial grade. They've had more success with the high-end.
residential.
It sounds like, looking through, they may be predominantly GE, but I can verify that for you.
All right, thank you.
We're getting started early because apparently when you crash boats into the Suez Canal, it sets the entire worldwide supply chain
on
back, substantially, so.
Did you have any questions? As far as the, so two questions. One is when you say the lowest responsive quote, how many quotes did we receive?
I don't have the total quotes,
More than one or not, you know?
yes.
Well, my policy
Yeah,
is a minimum of
they
three.
I know,
go out and-
I'm just asking,
Yeah, my policy is a minimum of three, but
Right.
I don't know how many they got total.
just asking for the record. And then, second thing is there any extended warranty included in those, in that price? Do we know of that?
I do not know, but I can find that out as,
Okay.
I'm making notes so I can get that information for you.
Yeah,
That'd be
just
good.
something to look at for
Yep.
whenever we buy these things, to either negotiate in an extended warranty or or at least price it out so that we can, extend that. You have to factor it in, obviously, to your total cost of ownership, but sometimes it can make sense, so.
Sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't.
Yep.
If there are no other questions, I'll move to approve purchase request 21 Fire 0857 to Appliance Gallery for Station 65 appliances in the amount of $19,484, and to authorize the township administrator to sign for the board.
Second.
Trustee Wallace?
Yes.
Trustee Dean?
Yes.
Trustee Kretz?
Yes, and I'd just ask that, yeah, you check into the extended warranty and see what is available or what's included, so. And if
Yes,
it's
sir.
something that
We'll
makes
get
sense, then
an
bring it
answer on
back
all
to
4
us.
points.
Yeah, just, if it's something that makes sense, then bring it back to us, obviously, and we'll consider it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, board. Next item is purchase request for EMS equipment service agreement. Budget justification starts on 76 with a motion on 77. Chief Amos is here to answer any questions.
Great demonstration of the Lucas device at the open house. So,
Yep.
impressive that it doesn't crack every rib on you, but saves your life, so.
That's
Well, there's no guarantees that it doesn't crack every rib.
Correct.
Just so we're clear.
Yep, understand.
it's a
But yeah,
Very-
definitely preferable to the alternative.
Yep.
But it was nice to hear from the firefighters directly that how much they appreciate that piece of equipment.
Yeah, it's a fatigue saver.
yeah.
And a lifesaver, so. And this is for all of the devices that we have, excuse me?
This is not for all of the devices. This is for the devices listed. I don't have a comprehensive list of the devices not covered, but this is specifically for 7 LifePak 15s, 14 LifePak 1000s, which are the AEDs, and 4 Lucas devices. And these are all the devices that were previously under a 4-year service agreement that has now lapsed. So this 1 year replaces that original 4-year. There are other devices that are on a different time cycle, like, as I just said, I don't know how many devices and what their current cycle is. The one good piece of news is that the price did actually go down just a little bit, driven primarily by the decrease in cost for the Lucas device service. So it was slightly 0.2% lower than the annual cost based off of the original 4-year agreement.
In general, has the cost of a new Lucas device come down?
That I don't know.
Okay. It'd be interesting just to know, as far as from a duty life cycle, if at some point there, depending on when technology, sometimes there's a tipping moment when the technology becomes less expensive enough where it might make sense to replace rather than.
Good
Yeah.
point.
And to add to that,
Yes.
that the chief and I are evaluating, and he and I both sat through a presentation on it, is Stryker bought physio control, so they're the same ones that do our cots and our lift systems and our medic units. They are under the new business models, and some of the bigger cities are looking at this, and we are one of the larger fire departments in the region, so they do have a lease
Yep.
program. So,
That's where I was headed.
much like our enterprise fleet management program, so,
Like Pittsburgh's.
yeah,
looking
Pittsburgh's
at it.
doing it,
Right.
some of the big cities are, Houston was another one that just came on board, I forget, New Orleans was another one that just came on board, so we're evaluating that, we're taking a look at that, committee's taking a look at that, you know, their source, is a little bit different when it comes to EMS supplies, but, it's something we're definitely gonna look at. And that includes cots, everything, I mean, it includes your
Yep.
lift lift systems,
Yeah.
the light packs, the Lucas devices. And they were kind of bragging on the next kind of generation of technology. I mean, these things are getting smaller and lighter. So, but obviously, more technology inside of them.
People aren't.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, these are devices that are very important, and, you know, even, the first night at the, EMS open house, I had a resident kind of questioning why, and, went through it and said, yeah, it made sense. I mean, they really like the fact that we put price tags on there and what, you know, what the cost is, and, you know, lift system, how much is a backcountry compared to having the lift system.
Right.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve purchase request 21-fire-0719 to Stryker for a 1-year service agreement for 7 LP15, 14 LP1000, and 4 Lucas devices in the amount of $20,196, and to authorize the township administrator to sign for the board.
Second.
Trustee Dean.
Yes.
Trustee Wallace.
Yes.
Trustee Kretz.
Yes.
Thank you, Board. Next item is purchase request for upfitting 4 trucks related to our fleet management program. Budget justification starts on page 77 with multiple motions on page 79. And Chief's here to answer any questions. But I believe this is it, right, Chief?
Yes, I believe this is, completes our fleet replacement. We'll be transitioned completely to the enterprise rental system. All of the original purchased vehicles will be surplus. And this particular set of purchase requests will outfit the trucks to match the other trucks. So the ones that you've seen, it will bring these new ones up to that standard. And it's 2 fire prevention trucks and 2 chief vehicle trucks, if I recall correctly.
And the chief, the pieces, parts, obviously, that when these trucks go through their cycle and the leased vehicle is turned back in to that extent. So the only, obviously, there's portions of this that we can salvage or essentially transfer potentially to a new vehicle. So other than
Yes.
the stripes, obviously, you're not going to do that, but.
Exactly. The striping is a sunk cost,
Right.
and the service, the actual word's escaping me, the manpower side, the staffing side of doing
Sure,
the work.
the labor,
is gone.
yeah.
All of the labor. Thank you. Yes,
Yeah.
that's exactly the word. But all of the equipment costs will be recouped and recycled through at least 1, if not 2 or 3 generations,
Good.
depending on how long we end up with these trucks.
Great.
Yeah, other than the stripes, I mean, the rest of the purchases are intended that, you know, we're gonna own the equipment and it goes to the next version, so.
Right. There'll be labor to deinstall and reinstall, but.
Correct, there's a cost to taking them out,
Yeah.
But maybe our road department can do that, maybe?
Well, part of the fleet management program is they handle 100% of that, and once we pick the vendor, they take care of that. So we don't make our first lease payment until it's 100% completely in service.
Okay.
If we take delivery of it, then we have to start making lease payments on it.
Okay.
Okay.
I move to approve purchase request 21 Fire 0899 to Yipes Stripes for striping of 4 vehicles in the amount of $3,800, and to authorize the township administrator to sign for the board.
Second.
Trustee Wallace.
Yes.
Trustee Dean.
Yes.
Trustee Kretz.
Yes.
I make a motion to approve purchase request 21-fire-0900 to Buckeye Body and Equipment for purchase of 4 fiberglass truck inserts, including uplifting and installing services, in the amount of $102,400, and to authorize the township administrator to sign for the board.
Second.
Trustee Dean.
Yes.
Trustee Wallace.
Yes.
Trustee Kretz.
Yes.
I move to approve purchase request 21 Fire 0901 to PAR Public Safety Equipment for purchase of lighting and upfitting equipment for 4 vehicles in the amount of $52,210.80, and to authorize the township administrator to sign for the board.
Second.
Trustee Wallace.
Yes.
Trustee Dean.
Yes.
Trustee Kretz.
Yes.
I make a motion to approve purchase request 21-fire-0903 to Motorola Solutions for purchase of mobile radio equipment in the amount of $41,145.62, and to authorize the township administrator to sign for the board.
Second.
Trustee Dean.
Yes.
Trustee Wallace.
Yes.
Trustee Kretz.
Yes.
One. The next item is the Station 65 update, followed by COVID impact of community, followed by the bi-weekly. Chief's here to answer any questions.
Any high level awareness items other than what's in the packet as far as Station 65?
Nope, the good news is that everything is on schedule, under budget, and it looks like we're gonna have a successful day for our dedication on August 28th, Saturday morning, so we're looking forward to that. Yeah, the project's going very smooth right now, so I hate to even say that and potentially jinx it, but the weather's cooperating, the contractor's cooperating, it's good.
Okay. No cicada issues?
Not yet. We'll know if they come back.
Get those doors up this week. We'll
Get the doors up.
Yeah, that could be some unpleasantness to have to clean out at some point.
Anything on COVID-19 impact? Anybody have questions, concerns? Express our appreciation again to the auxiliary and folks from CERT and the other organizations that helped out. We really appreciate their time and dedication. As far as supplies, I'm assuming that any of the PPE that we have, we will essentially maintain that stockpile. We'll phase down as far as replenishment or potentially stop replenishing. Is that where we're at now? Where are we at?
Right now, we're maintaining because there's still some industry-wide, I won't say shortages, but slowdowns in delivery. So our goal is to keep it at least at this level. One of the things we'll be evaluating probably later this summer, as we get to the true end of all this, is how much do we really want to keep in stock. Obviously, there's a cost to keeping it in stock, and there's a logistical issue as far as making sure that it doesn't spoil and things like that. So we're going to try and find our best guess balance between how much we have back in case there is a shortage or another issue versus what we can adequately maintain and is responsible as far as costs to the taxpayer. So when we do that process, we'll inform the board so you have an idea of what it is we're doing and why, so that if you get questions, you'll have that information.
Okay. Yeah, just from shelf life of an N95, I don't know what that is, but it has to, I'm sure it's 5 years. I don't know, but it appears that it would be if it's stored properly in the right temperature. So if it's stored in an unconditioned attic, obviously it might be less, but it'd be interesting to know what at least the manufacturer rates it at, and then some planning as far as in the event something should happen again. I would also encourage, if there's, as supply chains loosen up and those things, availability becomes better and prices come down, that we do evaluate and make sure that we are prepared, at least if whatever, to the extent we can, for a 10-year period, to make sure that we're covered. And if we're using grant dollars for that, even better. So.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And anything on the bi-weekly update as far as for Chief questions?
I don't have any questions, but I do want to thank the firefighters that attended Station 63 and 64 open house and the auxiliary again. They did a superior job. I think the citizens were happy to be able to go through the open house.
Well, thank you.
Yep,
And yeah, a lot of the credit to that goes to firefighter Chris Heaton. He's our outreach coordinator and set that up, coordinated everything, got the folks in there, advertising, he handled all of that. So he did a great job, and we appreciate our organization. One of our strengths is we have a lot of grassroots support within the organization. So he took on a pretty big responsibility. Obviously, it went very well, and it just reflects his skills and abilities. So we appreciate that.
It was a very nice event.
And the support dogs were a big hit,
Yeah.
They were.
especially,
We're actually gonna be adding support dogs to our auxiliary capability. It's one of the things we were discussing Friday evening,
yeah,
so.
that's a good idea.
At least one or two are interested in supporting major incidents.
Great. Good idea. Ms. Frick, anything from legal?
No, nothing at this time.
And Mr. Rushing?
Thank you, board. Just one item. We do have a resolution to surplus some items that we have in the fiscal office. Metal cabinet, one desk unit, one office hutch, and one supply cabinet. These items are no use to the staff and no use to the office. So per ORC, requesting to surplus those and put them on gov deals.
Great.
There's a resolution in your packet that can be passed as presented.
Awesome. I make a motion to adopt resolution number 2021-0524-finance-A. Resolution finding certain township equipment to be surplus and disposed of.
Second.
Trustee Dean,
Yes.
Trustee Wallace,
Yes.
Trustee Kretz.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. And MVRPC?
Nothing to report.
TAC?
That'll be the next packet, I think they have. Yes. Yeah.
And Greene County Regional Planning, so the full commission essentially will meet tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Via Zoom. The only thing that's on the agenda is the text amendment for Beavercreek Township, so removing zoning permits for easements. Otherwise, it's neighboring communities. Anything from Health Department?
Next meeting will be the first Thursday of June.
School Superintendent? City Manager?
No report, I do have a meeting this week with the city manager. So I'll have something next week. Nothing on right now.
Restoration Board, Township Association?
We will have a meeting on June 8th. It's going to be at the home of Gordon and Jill Dwyer at, in Jamestown, Ohio. It's going to be hosted by Silver Creek, Jefferson, and Ross Townships. If you'd like to attend, you can bring a spouse or a guest and RSVP to Silver Creek Township. And in the meeting, invitation has gone out.
And investment oversight, I had nothing to report, and Mr. Rushing had
Just
something.
an informational item. I did coordinate with the administrator, Ted Sumner of Huntington. Will be giving a presentation to the board as a pre-scheduled speaker on June 28th.
Perfect, thank you. If there's nothing else to come before the board, we'll entertain a motion to go into executive session under Ohio Revised Code, section 121.22G1, to consider the employment and compensation of public employees.
So moved?
Second.
Trustee Wallace,
Yes.
Trustee Dean,
Yes.
Trustee Kretz.
Yes. 6:40 p.m. Do we have a motion to come out of executive session?
So moved.
Second?
Trustee Dean,
Yes.
Trustee Wallace,
Yes.
Trustee Kretz.
Yes. Anything else to come before the board? If not, a motion to adjourn.
So moved?
Second.
Trustee Wallace,
Yes.
Trustee Dean,
Yes.
Trustee Kretz.
Yes. Thanks, guys.